My husband's new secretary was high maintenance. She appeared delicate and harmless, but she caused trouble all day long. During business dinners, she insisted on serving milk and sweet rolls to clients. I wanted to fire her multiple times, but my husband stopped me. Grace, Luna is young, and it's not easy for her to make her way alone. Don't be so petty. It wasn't until I was overseas negotiating a project that I coincidentally scrolled past my husband on a live stream. He was sitting beside his secretary, pouring her tea and water. Luna was smiling sweetly as she presented the antiques my father left behind to a client. My hands trembling, I called to confront my husband. He replied indifferently, "They're just some worthless junk. If you want more, I'll buy them for you." Luna was also thinking of the company. Be more understanding. I immediately called the police and asked my lawyer to draft the divorce papers. Marcus had probably forgotten whose company it truly was. As soon as my plane landed, I went straight to the police station. When I arrived, Luna was sitting in the mediation room, her eyes red, as if she were the one who had suffered a great injustice. Marcus was comforting her, his face showing deep concern. When he saw me, his expression immediately darkened. "Grace, have you lost your mind? Is this petty issue really worth calling the police over? Look how you've scared Luna. Was it necessary to make such a big scene?" I looked at his accusatory look and ironically started to laugh from anger. "Marcus, those antiques she gave away were artifacts my father painstakingly restored with artisans, intending to donate them to the National Museum. Every single one is registered. This is illegal theft." I had been caught in riots overseas, and my forehead wound was still oozing blood, but from the moment I entered the police station until now, Marcus hadn't asked about me once. It seemed he only remembered the child when we had arguments. From beginning to end, his eyes seemed to only see Luna's tears, convinced I was making a mountain out of a molehill. Luna trembled with fright and cowered into his arms. "Grace, I didn't mean any harm. Why are you humiliating me like this?" Marcus paused, then patted her back reassuringly. "You never mentioned it before. Luna was only thinking about the company. She's still just a kid. Don't be so harsh." I scoffed. "So just for the sake of the company, she can casually take my belongings to curry favor?" "Marcus, you're the CEO of this company. Don't you know what's appropriate? Since you're so protective of her, let's get a divorce." Marcus looked at me in disbelief, saying anxiously, "Grace, don't be impulsive. I didn't know those antiques were so important. I apologize. Let's talk this through. You're also pregnant. Don't make a scene. It's not good for the baby." I stared at him silently. My heart felt as if it were being torn apart. In college, we were caught in an avalanche, and Marcus was the one who dragged me out with his injured leg. For the sake of our unborn child, and for his past kindness, I took a deep breath and still chose to let bygones be bygones. "I won't divorce you, but make her retrieve those antiques for me. Perfectly intact, right now." As soon as I finished speaking, Marcus turned to look at Luna. "Luna, quickly contact Mr. Richard and get the items back. Don't cry. I'm here. Nothing will happen." I didn't want to see his gentle, patient demeanor anymore, so I turned and walked away. But tearful complaints reached my ears. "Mr. Marcus, Grace has such a terrible temper. A mere project manager daring to put on airs with you. She isn't worthy of you. I don't know why you even married her. They're just a few broken vases. I'll go get them back right away." I paused, hearing Marcus sigh. "Luna, stop talking. I know you felt sorry for me. Perhaps I was utterly infatuated before." His words pierced my heart like a sharp sword, and I instantly plunged into an icy abyss. He had initially hired Luna into the company despite my objections. He claimed she was a graduate from a top-tier university. Yet, after she started working, she'd order milk at business dinners and bluntly tell clients they had bad breath during project discussions, but protected her at every turn, saying she was just a child. Luna's parents died. It's not easy for her alone as a child. She worked overtime until dawn today, and I heard she ate instant ramen given by the security guard. At the time, I foolishly thought he was kind-hearted and appreciated her hard work as a new employee, but now, I realized that the admiring and pitying look in his eyes when he gazed at Luna had always hinted at something unusual. To prevent Marcus from being called a kept man, I made him a nominal director of the company. He was the one schmoozing and networking outside. But I was the one traveling for business while heavily pregnant. He made me go to prenatal checkups alone, but took Luna to attend social events to gain experience. But now, I could no longer deceive myself. I could give Marcus a chance for the sake of our child and his past kindness. But that didn't mean I would tolerate Luna circling around me any longer. I pulled out my phone and called my chief Olivia, saying, "Fire's little secretary." Within minutes, Marcus called me. "Grace, what do you mean by this? You just said all those nice things. And now you're turning around to fire Luna? Do I mean nothing to you?" Swallowing the bitterness that surged in my heart, I said coldly, "I'm firing a dishonest employee. Is there a problem with that? Or do you think she did a great job, and I should give her an award?" Hearing this, Marcus became agitated. "Don't say such unpleasant things. Luna meant well but messed up. Do you have to be so ruthless? She's just a fresh graduate. Don't be so cruel." I took a deep breath, my chest tightening. "Marcus, you feel so sorry for her. Why don't you just leave with her?" Silence fell on the other end of the line. This company was the foundation of my family's legacy. He was just a title. Marcus still knew what truly mattered. Sure enough, a few seconds later, his voice softened. "Grace, you know I didn't mean it that way. How could I possibly leave you and the company for a secretary? I just felt she was a pitiful kid. Look, for my sake, for when I saved you and broke my leg, let her stay. I'll keep an eye on her from now on, and there won't be any more mistakes." Hearing him bring up his past kindness again, a lump formed in my throat, and I gritted my teeth. "Marcus, this is the last time." That evening, Marcus carefully moved all the antiques back. He affectionately put his arm around my shoulder. "Grace, look, they're all here, Mr. Richard." Upon realizing it was a misunderstanding, immediately returned them. I didn't reply, simply counting them myself, but when I finished counting, I found a family heirloom bracelet was missing. My father had spent 2 years just finding the restoration materials for it, so I remembered it exceptionally clearly. I glanced up at Marcus. "Where's the bracelet?" His eyes shifted nervously, and he sighed. "Mr. Richard's naughty youngest son accidentally broke it." I couldn't really argue with him. Seeing my expression darkened, he handed me a scented sachet and said softly, "This is a carefully blended sachet Luna made just for you. It's suitable for pregnant women. Give it a try." Ignoring my attempts to pull away, he held the sachet to my nose. A nauseating, musky smell assaulted me. My stomach instantly cramped, and I was drenched in cold sweat. "Marcus, my stomach hurts. Take me to the hospital." Marcus, however, put on his suit jacket, preparing to leave. He glanced down at his phone and frowned. "I told you before, don't get so worked up. It's not good for the baby. I'm rushing to attend the project investors banquet. I'll call a driver to take you right now." But I waited until my face was pale and I was bleeding, and no one came to pick me up. Trembling, I called an ambulance for myself. As I hung up, my finger accidentally swiped open my social media feed. The very top post was from Luna. "Thank you, Mr. Marcus, for helping Luna experience the world. The yacht party was super fun. New friends are super nice." The accompanying photo showed her in a frilly Lolita-style dress, leaning into Marcus's arms with a cloying smile, but my eyes fixed on her wrist, where she was wearing the family heirloom bracelet my father had left behind. So the bracelet wasn't shattered. Marcus had given it away to curry favor. Something in my heart seemed to shatter completely, leaving only unbearable emptiness. I curled up on the hospital bed in pain, looking at Luna's photo, showing off the bracelet, and suddenly felt an immense sense of irony. As the doctor gave me a shot to prevent miscarriage, I calmly called Marcus. He answered quickly, his voice carrying a subtle hint of impatience. "Grace, I just forgot to have the driver pick you up. I'll contact him now. I really can't leave here right now. Be strong." My voice was devoid of emotion. "Marcus, let's talk," but thought I was throwing a tantrum and said irritably, "Grace, are you trying to threaten me or cause trouble for Luna? Can't you stop being so aggressive?" It seemed we had nothing left to discuss. I silently hung up and sent a message to my top contact, Mr. Miller. "Please draft divorce papers and send them to me as soon as possible." The doctor said the scented sachet contained musk and black dog's blood. I almost had a miscarriage and stayed in the hospital for 2 days. Marcus, on the other hand, only made one faint call of concern before accompanying Luna on a beach getaway. My heart went cold at first, then I became numb, and I put away the divorce papers my lawyer sent me. The company had an important charity gala soon, and executives from several major projects would be attending. I couldn't miss it. Before even entering the ballroom, I heard a familiar cloying voice. "Mr. Marcus, this hot spring is so beautiful. Take a picture of me." Luna walked in, bouncing along in a short, schoolgirl-style uniform skirt that was completely out of place for the gala, her hair tied in pigtails. Marcus looked at her with an indulgent expression, his eyes full of affection. When he saw me, his smile froze, and his eyes shifted nervously. "Grace, weren't you hospitalized? Why are you attending the gala?" Luna approached, her eyes full of smugness, and exclaimed in surprise, "Manager, this charity gala is for company directors. What are you doing here as a project manager? Don't tell me you thought Mr. Marcus wouldn't be here, and you planned to hit on a rich guy while he was away." I looked at her coldly, not bothering to argue with someone so foolish, but thought I was scared and became even more audacious, feigning innocence with a hint of malice. I knew it. "No wonder manager always secures big projects. So it's because of your special services, huh? You're truly dedicated, using your body for projects. Is the child in your belly even Mr. Marcus's? Or is it a bastard?" Her feigned outspokenness was sickening. Unable to tolerate it any longer, I slapped her across the face. Luna let out a shriek, tears instantly streaming down her face as she looked piteously at Marcus. His face turned ashen. He rushed forward, forcefully shoved me aside, and carefully checked Luna's face. "Grace, have you gone mad?" I stumbled back a few steps from his push, my lower back hitting the wall behind me. "Marcus, have you been CEO for so long that you've forgotten whose company this is?" His expression immediately darkened. I walked straight into the main hall, hearing Luna's bewildered question behind me. "Mr. Marcus, what does manager mean by that?" Without stopping, I called my chief Olivia, freeze all Marcus's accounts, and fire both him and Luna. Halfway through the charity gala, Marcus came to the front row to find me. "Grace, I was just about to donate to charity, but my card isn't working." I handed him the divorce papers. "Sign it." He looked at me in disbelief, lowering his voice. "Grace, what exactly do you want? Just because I gave Luna a little extra care, you dare to bring up divorce? What about the child in your belly? Do you want him to be born without a father?" My red lips curved slightly, and I scoffed. "My child doesn't need a scumbag who shoves me for his mistress as a father." Marcus was so angry his teeth chattered. He picked up the divorce papers from the floor and crumpled them in his hand. "Grace, you've got guts. I'll be waiting for your apology." Watching him and Luna disappear, my heart suddenly felt empty, but mostly, I felt relief. However, I underestimated Luna's foolishness. The next morning, Chief Olivia walked into my office with a serious expression. "Chairwoman, something's happened. Look at this post." I took the tablet, and an incredibly popular post that had just gone live appeared on the screen. "Famous CEO undermined by his wife, conspiring to seize assets and cheating, getting pregnant." The post was even more repulsive, and Luna's affectedly sweet tone was obvious at a glance. "I'm just a recent graduate trying to make a living, and I'm so wronged. Mr. Marcus is truly amazing, but his wife is a ruthless, manipulative bitch. Mr. Marcus has to constantly watch her expression when he goes out socially, and she even fired me and suspended him just because she saw Mr. Marcus appreciated me. And that's not even counting how impure she is. She gets projects by prostituting herself, only getting resources by sleeping with big shots. Who knows where the child in her belly even came from? It's probably a bastard." Below it were several photos of me schmoozing and networking with other executives. The post went viral, with various marketing accounts reposting it, and my identity was quickly exposed. The company's stock plummeted, and several partners we were negotiating projects with called to inquire. My stomach began to ache faintly, and I immediately contacted Marcus. The phone rang for a long time before he finally answered. I suppressed my anger. "Marcus, make Luna delete that libelous post immediately and issue a public apology." He sighed, as if indulging my unreasonable behavior. "Grace, why did we have to come to this? Your desire to control me has been too strong these past few years. Deep down, you've always believed the company is yours, looking down on me. You're CEO. You get petty when I'm a little nice to my subordinates. You want her to apologize, and you want me to stabilize the situation for you. Fine, just transfer 30% of the company's shares to me." His words extinguished the last shred of feeling I had for him. So after 3 years of dating and 5 years of marriage, he had always thought I wronged him. My eyes held only coldness and desolation. I let out a light laugh. "Marcus, you and Luna can look forward to spending your lives in prison." Without waiting for his reply, I hung up and immediately called in the head of the legal department, filed charges for libel, harming business reputation, and threats and intimidation with the police within 3 days. Publicly humiliate them. After an urgent meeting with the legal and PR departments, I decided to go to the break room to pour myself some warm water to settle my stomach. Inside, I heard chattering voices. Did you see that post? I can't believe manager is that kind of person. You never know a person's true heart. I said her performance was so good, becoming a department manager at such a young age. Bullying Marcus and slandering Luna. She's absolutely shameless. Mr. Marcus must have had the worst luck to marry her. When they saw me walk in, they didn't hold back at all, looking at me with disdain. Back then, to prevent Marcus from being ridiculed, I concealed my identity and worked as a junior manager. I never imagined that my constant consideration for him would ultimately become a knife aimed at me. A faint cough interrupted their sarcasm. My assistant stood at the break room doorway, her face pale with fury. Chairwoman, why are you getting water yourself? Those few gossiping employees turned deathly pale, looking at me in disbelief. What chairwoman? Assistant, has she bought you off too? Sister told us not to yield to power. How can you side with this bad woman? Olivia looked at them coldly. The company has always belonged to chairwoman. Marcus is just the CEO. If you don't know the facts, then shut up. The employees trembled with fright, their voices choked with tears. Chairwoman, we were tricked by Luna. Please be magnanimous and don't hold this against us. I twisted my lips into a smile that didn't reach my eyes. You're so concerned about my private life, chatting so eagerly. Have you finished all your work? The ones who had been sarcastic and snide towards me just moments ago didn't dare breathe. My voice was indifferent. Assistant, notify HR. These individuals are to be fired for spreading rumors and slandering a superior. In the past, I buried myself in work, never bothering with outside gossip. Marcus and Luna had probably heaped countless slanders upon my name behind my back, but they wouldn't last long. The PR and legal departments were highly efficient, quickly releasing high-resolution photos and recordings. There were photos of Marcus and Luna holding hands and kissing by the sea, and him wearing a light-up headband, accompanying Luna to a concert. The following photos also showed the two of them being intimate in various locations. Anyone with eyes could see how unusual their relationship was. The recording was Marcus's original voice from when he called me. His ugly true colors were exposed, showing him simultaneously accusing and threatening me while brazenly demanding company shares. At the end of the statement, my signed divorce papers were attached. The tide turned 180 degrees instantly. Everyone now knew that Marcus was the freeloader who acts superior and a cheating scumbag. Luna shattering an investor's wine and compensating with juice, and forcing clients to eat potato chips, claiming she was helping them experience life, were also exposed. Netizens were all calling her a stupid and malicious manipulative user. Suddenly, everyone felt sorry for me, having been schemed against by a scumbag and a manipulative woman, and supported me in suing them to oblivion. The previously plummeting stock shares surged, and partners called repeatedly, urging me to sign contracts. The company employees also learned that I was the company's chairwoman, and no one dared to say another word. After working for a day and a night, I was physically and mentally exhausted but felt a sense of lightness. As I walked into the foyer of the estate, I froze. Marcus was sitting on the sofa, with Luna fragile beside him, looking at me with smugness. Manager, are you done with company matters? Are you hoping Mr. Marcus will help you clean up your mess? Her cloying voice made my stomach churn. Marcus chuckled softly. Grace, Luna never intended to break up our family. You don't always have to target her. She only went online to complain because she was wronged. Who knew netizens were so resourceful they'd expose you? If you admit you're wrong, I'll forgive you, and we can go back to how things were. He seemed certain I couldn't leave him, even wanting me to apologize. I pursed my lips, watching Marcus silently, trying to find the proud young man he once was in his current pathetic state. The one who used to clumsily cook me chicken soup and wait 3 hours in line for the pastries I wanted. But now, he was blinded by wealth and power. Seeing my silence, Marcus thought I had given in. Grace, I know you're upset. But now that things have escalated this far, you should know that neither you nor the company can do without me. The internet is now full of attacks against you. Stock prices have plummeted, and partnerships have been cancelled. But as long as you obediently transfer the shares to me and publicly apologize, I'll come back to you. Seeing this, Luna covered her mouth and chuckled. Mr. Marcus is right. How could a woman possibly manage a company? Don't worry. I won't force you to divorce Mr. Marcus. I'll be content just being by his side. I looked at them both as if they were fools. Knowing they hadn't checked the news on their phones, I spent 3 years earning my doctorate from a top overseas business school. Why wouldn't I be qualified to manage this company? And what do you have? A father in prison, a mother who's insane, without me. You wouldn't even be qualified to step foot in my family's company. I made you CEO because I trusted you. I loved you. But what have you done? You abandoned me during my prenatal checkups to go on a beach getaway with her. Didn't you know the scented sachet Luna made had musk in it? You almost caused me to miscarry, and you still have the nerve to show your faces to me? Marcus's face turned ashen, and he trembled with rage. Luna was also stunned, apparently not expecting the Mr. Marcus she adored to be a kept man. I pointed at the door, my eyes cold and severe. Get out of my house. I forgot to change the house code, and you took advantage of it. If you dare to trespass again, I'll call the police. Marcus stared at me, seemingly unable to believe I could be so ruthless. Grace, we're not divorced yet. Marcus touched his left leg, his voice softening. Grace, do you have to be so ruthless? Back then, to save you, I still have a surgical pin in my left leg. Search your conscience. Do you really think you're treating me fairly? After being rescued from the avalanche back then, he said all that mattered was my safety. But later, whenever we argued, he would always trot out that same excuse. My repeated concessions had only led to his escalating schemes. This time, I didn't feel the familiar suffocating sensation in my heart. Instead, I said calmly, I've repaid your life-saving kindness enough over the years. He froze, seemingly not expecting me to say that. I impassively glanced at his leg. For the sake of your leg, I can choose not to pursue charges against you, but sign the divorce papers immediately. After this, we go our separate ways, owing nothing to each other. Marcus's hopeful eyes immediately dimmed. Grace, are you really that eager to get rid of me? I frowned impatiently. Or do you expect me to watch you to being affectionate? I've already provided the police with evidence of you slandering and threatening me. If you don't sign, I'll have them process this case immediately. Luna's face turned pale with fright, and she clutched Marcus's arm pitifully. Marcus's chest heaved, and after a long moment, he gritted his teeth and managed to say, I'll sign. Grace, don't you dare regret this. After signing, he slammed the divorce papers onto the floor, embraced Luna, and left without a backward glance. I felt no sadness or reluctance, only a sense that the world had finally quieted. After divorcing Marcus, both my life and work fell into place. It wasn't until my childhood friend Ethan called me. He was always elusive, traveling overseas year-round. Grace, I'm back in the Swiss, and I found something out. His voice was hoarse. That avalanche back then, Marcus, that animal, lied to us all. My heart clenched, and I almost forgot to breathe. Ethan panted. I met the climbing guide from back then. It wasn't him who saved you at all. He insisted on snowboarding in the restricted area, which triggered a small avalanche. He was the one responsible. After you were knocked unconscious by snow, it was the guide's son who rescued you. Marcus abandoned you and ran off. I don't know what he told everyone, but they all believed he saved you. All these years, I always felt indebted to Marcus, which is why I compromised for him time and again. But the life-saving kindness was a lie. I felt no anger or sadness, only the absurdity of being fooled. After I hung up, Marcus, surprisingly, called me. After the divorce, he started his own company, and I heard he was recently trying to attract investors. I had thought he had some integrity for not asking me for help, but it seemed I had overestimated him. Grace, how have you been? I often dream of you. Seeing that I didn't respond, Marcus covered his awkwardness and said, I've started a small company. It's still in its early stages and lacking funds. We were married once. I didn't force you to split the assets during the divorce, so if you could invest a few million, it would be a show of support. Seemingly sensing my reluctance behind my silence, he grew anxious. Grace, for the sake of my leg, this time, I didn't let him continue. Instead, I said, word for word, suppressing my disgust, Marcus, your leg wasn't crippled because you saved me. You caused the avalanche yourself by playing in the restricted area. It was the guide's son who carried me out of the snowy mountain. You're just a fraud who claimed false credit. There was dead silence on the other end. Marcus let out a frightened gasp but couldn't utter a single word. Just as I was about to hang up, he hysterically blurted out, Grace, Don't listen to others' nonsense. They're lying to you. His voice carried the panic of being exposed. Impatient to hear more, I cut him off coldly. Whether it's nonsense or not, you know perfectly well, Marcus. Don't you dare try to blackmail me with your fake kindness again, or I'll settle accounts with you properly, he retorted in humiliation and anger. Grace, I can do just fine without you. We met in college. His family wasn't well off, but he was incredibly diligent. My father hadn't initially approved of us, only giving his blessing after learning he had saved me in the avalanche. I had thought the proud young man I remembered had been corrupted by the allure of wealth and power, becoming vile and despicable, but from the very beginning, he had approached me with deceit. A few days later, assistant handed me her tablet with a smile. Chairwoman, look at this. It's quite inspiring. On the screen was Luna's newly registered short video account, named Luna's Entrepreneurial with Mr. Marcus. I clicked on the latest post, which was from a business dinner. Luna was wearing a micro mini skirt, her voice cloying. Hey everyone, today I'm here with Mr. Marcus to meet with investors. Mr. Marcus is super handsome and amazing. He'll definitely close the deal. The scene shifted to Luna enthusiastically pouring orange juice for an investor. Mr. David, liquor is bad for your stomach. Our Marcus is so thoughtful. He never lets me drink. When a server brought out foie gras, she took a bite and then pulled ketchup from her plush toy bag. She even thoughtfully squeezed a generous amount onto the plate for the investor. Mr. David, try it. This is how I usually dip my fries. The investor's face turned green, but he couldn't criticize Luna. Marcus was trying to negotiate a deal, and she actually suggested playing truth or dare. He desperately tried to signal her, but he still couldn't stop Luna's enthusiasm. At the end of the video, Luna pouted and complained that the investor had no taste. Just as I was about to exit, Luna actually started a live stream. She was smiling, holding an unsterilized freshwater fish, saying she was going to make Marcus a loving dinner. Marcus frowned. Forced to eat a plate of sashimi, the next second, he covered his mouth and vomited. The live stream ended in chaos. I looked at Marcus's pained, twisted face and Luna's panicked expression, and the corners of my lips turned up. Wickedness brings its own downfall, Marcus. Is this the good life you wanted? A few days later, as I was reviewing tender documents for a new project, my phone rang. Seeing it was an unfamiliar local number, I suspiciously pressed the answer button. Marcus's hoarse, weak voice came through. Grace, it's me. Why did you block my calls? I've been hospitalized for days. I miss you so much. It seemed Luna's sashimi was quite potent. He was still playing for sympathy, saying, my stomach issues flared up, and I vomited bile. Grace, whenever I was sick before, you always made me comforting bland food. Marcus probably thought I would soften and continued rambling, reminiscing. My stomach churned as I listened. Isn't Luna with you? Have her make it for you. I saw her live stream. She seemed quite concerned about you. He paused, his voice filled with resentment and disgust. Don't even mention her. She can't take care of anyone. I was practically vomiting myself to exhaustion. And she was still recording with her phone, shoving the camera right in my face and telling me to smile, saying Mr. Marcus would be back to full strength soon. And that's not all. The doctor told me to have plain broth, but she brought me a bowl of spicy fish stew and told me to eat it. Grace, she's mentally unstable. I truly know I was wrong. Please let me come home, he complained bitterly to me, his words brimming with resentment toward Luna. I heard his complaints, but felt no pity. I felt nothing. And even wanted to laugh. That's a shame. It seems she's not good at taking care of people. Marcus, we're divorced. If your stomach hurts, go see a doctor. If no one's taking care of you, hire a nurse. Don't tell me these things. You made your choice. Now live with the consequences. Don't call me again. Your well-being is no longer my concern. No matter how unwilling Marcus was, I simply hung up the phone. I touched my noticeably pregnant belly, feeling the unborn child move, perhaps from the very beginning. Marcus and I were not meant to be. I thought my life had returned to peace, but after attending an industry gala and discussing projects with several executives, the moment I turned around, someone violently bumped into me. Cold wine splashed across my chest. Luna looked at me, feigning panic, but I noticed the smugness in her eyes. Her voice was tearful. Chairwoman, I'm so sorry I slipped. This time, she wasn't wearing those out-of-place clothes, probably because Marcus had lectured her. I looked at her fake and insincere demeanor and scoffed inwardly. Too lazy to waste words on her. I turned and walked towards the lounge. Assistant followed. I whispered a few words in her ear and then had her retrieve my spare outfit. Before I even had a chance to take off my soiled jacket, there was a commotion outside. A group of reporters with large cameras rushed in, snapping photos wildly. Chairwoman, you just got divorced and now you're meeting a strange man. Were you cheating all along? Chairwoman, did your clothes get dirty during an intimate encounter? Their questions were extremely sharp, but when they saw the scene inside, they instantly fell silent. I was alone in the room, watching them with composure. Ladies and gentlemen, it seems you've come to the wrong place. My lips curved in a faint smirk. I turned and pushed open the door to the adjacent room. The big news you're looking for is in here. Luna was straddling a dirty homeless man. Her face flushed crimson. The homeless man was leering, panting heavily. Shutter clicks and flashes startled Luna awake. She let out a scream, frantically grabbing clothes to cover her completely naked body, terrified and panicked. She pointed at me and shrilled, "Grace set me up. She's jealous that Marcus likes me. She deliberately planned this." I watched her performance, arms crossed, knowing I had simply given her a taste of her own medicine. Marcus pushed past the reporters and squeezed in, putting his jacket over Luna, then led her away in humiliation and anger. The farce came and went quickly. The reporters chased after the two of them, and I turned to leave the ballroom. Luna's move was both foolish and malicious. She shot herself in the foot and disgraced Marcus, yet I felt nothing inside, only that they deserved it. The next day, as soon as I arrived downstairs at the company, Luna blocked my way. Her face was haggard, her eyes red and swollen, as she rushed forward, trying to grab me. Seeing this, the security guard quickly stopped her. "Grace, why won't you leave me alone?" she screamed, drawing the attention of passersby. "You ruined my reputation. Are you happy now?" Hearing her hysterical accusations, I only found it amusing. "Luna, you're the one who hired someone to ruin my reputation. You also found that homeless man yourself. No one forced you. When have I ever harmed you? Even when you seduced Marcus and broke up my family, I never retaliated against you. Don't try to slander me. Instead of putting on an act, you should go back to work." She was choked by my merciless words, her face turning blotchy with green and purple. I pointed at the pocket of her jacket, hinting sarcastically, "Turn off your voice recorder. That trick won't work if you use it too much. Focus your schemes on something productive. Learn some real skills. They're more valuable than anything else." I no longer looked at her distorted face. Turning to enter the company, behind me, Luna's venomous shout rang out, "Grace, you'll get what's coming to you." The next time I encountered Luna, I was meeting a friend to discuss business. I was sitting in a corner of the coffee shop when I saw Luna, wearing a denim skirt that barely covered her backside, flirting with someone. She nestled into the bald, greasy man's embrace. "Mr. David, you're so amazing," she cooed, "unlike our Mr. Marcus, whose company is on the verge of collapse." Her pale chest was almost rubbing against the man's arm, and she was shaking with laughter. When I found the sight repulsive, a middle-aged woman stormed in. She scanned the room, then walked directly to Luna's table. Luna tried to shrink behind the man, but the woman grabbed her by her hair and dragged her to the floor. "You shameless little slut, daring to seduce my husband. Dressing like that and prostituting yourself. Didn't anyone teach you self-respect?" The woman hit and cursed, forcefully tearing at Luna's neckline, revealing the lace bra underneath. The man didn't dare make a peep, let alone stand up for Luna. The woman spat fiercely, dragging the ashen-faced man away. "If I ever see you seducing my husband again, I'll destroy you, you hussy." Luna collapsed on the floor, covering her face and sobbing uncontrollably. Word of this incident quickly reached Marcus. He publicly fired Luna. After he kicked her out, she settled down for a few days before getting involved with a notorious, crude businessman. A few days later, I met Marcus at a real estate tender. His face was haggard, and he had a scraggly beard. Gone was his former spirited self. His eyes, when they met mine, were a complex mix of regret and pleading. "Grace, can we talk?" "I didn't even bat an eye, Mr. Marcus. This is a real estate tender. I don't have time to catch up." His eyes were slightly bloodshot. "Grace, I truly know I made a mistake. I had been completely deluded in the past, chasing novelty, seduced by Luna. I regret it. For the sake of the baby in your belly, please give me another chance. Grace, let me come home. I truly can't take this anymore. We're a family. I had once loved him and hated him, but now Marcus felt utterly like a stranger. he didn't realize his mistake. He just wanted to return to his privileged life, being fawned over. I shook my head, looking at him calmly. Marcus, without you, the company and I will only be better off. He returned to his corner, utterly dejected, but his dazed expression could no longer elicit my sympathy. Assistant looked at me worriedly. I shook my head, signaling I was fine. The tender went smoothly, and Gu secured the land without a hitch. After that, Marcus never appeared before me again. Days passed in a busy yet mundane routine until my due date arrived, but a strange sense of unease settled in my heart on the day of labor. Just as I was wheeled into the delivery room, the door was suddenly burst open from the outside. Luna rushed in, hair disheveled, a knife clutched in her hand. As she lunged at me, "Grace, you bitch, you're the reason for all this. You and that bastard deserve to die." The midwives and nurses froze in fear, and I was paralyzed. Just as the blade was about to strike me, a figure shielded me. Blood continuously gushed from Marcus's mouth, yet he still clutched the knife tightly. The bodyguards outside subdued Luna and took her away. Marcus was also carried out. My consciousness completely faded into darkness when I woke up again. Assistant was sitting by my bed. "Shareholder, how are you feeling now?" "The baby is very healthy. It's a little girl." She paused, then said in a low voice, "Marcus didn't make it. The knife had pierced his artery. Luna has been taken away by the police." I pursed my lips, but ultimately said nothing. Whether he shielded me from the knife or died, it didn't matter. The grievances and harm between Marcus and me were now completely settled. Looking at my daughter's sleeping face, my heart felt exceptionally warm. The future belonging to my daughter and me was long and bright.